Lovely Blossom. Blossom lived on a quaint little farm nestled in the countryside, where the rolling hills met the endless sky. She was a spirited young girl with a passion for nature and a heart as warm as the summer sun. On her farm, she tended to a small but thriving pig family, taking care of them with love and dedication. However, there was one small issue that often caused a bit of a stir in the neighborhood. The unmistakable scent of the pig farm would occasionally waft on the wind, finding its way to the neighboring houses and causing some discomfort. Despite her best efforts to contain the smell, it seemed to have a mind of its own, dancing freely with the breeze. One particular neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, was especially sensitive to the odor. Every time Blossom walked by her house, Mrs. Jenkins would raise a fuss, complaining loudly about the stench and its intrusion on her peaceful abode. But despite the complaints, Blossom remained undeterred, always offering a polite smile and a friendly wave as she passed by. Blossom, being the considerate and knowledgeable girl she was, knew she couldn't ignore the issue. So she brainstormed ways to alleviate the problem while still caring for her beloved pigs. One day, as she walked through her orchard, she noticed that her apple tree was heavy with ripe fruit, its branches practically sagging under the weight of the juicy apples. A light bulb went off in Blossom's head. Gathering baskets full of the delicious fruit, she went door to door, visiting each of her neighbors, including Mrs. Jenkins. With a warm smile, she presented them with the apples, freshly picked from her own tree. "I wanted to apologize for any inconvenience the smell from my farm may have caused," Blossom said sincerely. "I hope these apples can make up for it, and I promise to do my best to minimize the odor in the future." Mrs. Jenkins was taken aback by Blossom's kindness. Despite her initial grumblings, she couldn't help but be touched by the gesture. Accepting the basket of apples with a grateful smile, she replied, "Oh, Blossom, you are such a thoughtful young girl. Thank you for your generosity. And please don't worry too much about the smell. It's a small price to pay for living in such a beautiful countryside." From that day on, Blossom and Mrs. Jenkins developed a newfound respect and understanding for one another. Blossom continued to care for her pigs with even more diligence, implementing new strategies to minimize the smell, while Mrs. Jenkins learned to appreciate the simple joys of country living, including the occasional scent of farm life. As the seasons changed and the years passed, the bond between Blossom and her neighbors only grew stronger, a testament to the power of kindness, understanding, and a shared love for the land they called home. And amidst the rolling hills and endless skies, the sweet aroma of friendship lingered, carrying on the wind like a gentle whisper of gratitude. The end.